While I was writing this script, I was thinking to myself, do you know anybody who has bought a motorcycle and did absolutely nothing to it? Anyway, we're gonna be talking about my Ducati Monster Plus and all the modifications that I did to it and why and etc. Number 1, the mirrors. This wasn't necessarily an optional modification because the stock mirrors are absolute trash. They're very clumsy to adjust, and for me personally, I just was looking at my arm being in the way. So I got rid of those and I installed these Barracuda ones. These mirrors can be angled any way you prefer, so I got them at a slight upward angle because downward it requires you to look very far down in order to see what's behind you. I don't necessarily like that. Number 2, the handlebars. I like a bit of a more attack position type seating position. So my length, the stock handlebars actually were pretty trash and had me feeling like I was riding around with a stick in my ass. So I switched them out for these Rizom Flat bars, and as the name suggests, these are in fact flat bars. They're a bit wider than the stock handlebars, but other than that, yeah, they're great handlebars. Number 3, the windscreen. This Ducati Monster Plus sets you back a few extra bucks, so you get a seat cover while being unable to uninstall the passenger packs and a windscreen. And you don't have to have a lot of experience in aerodynamics to see that this windscreen in fact does not really shield you from the wind. I bought the Puig Sport, so that adds a bit of height to it. Below 100 kilometers an hour, there's somewhat more wind protection. But to be fair, if wind protection is such a big thing to you, then yeah, you shouldn't have considered looking at a naked bike. Number 4, the tail tidy. Probably the best modification you could do to any bike out there. The best option out there is, to me, is probably still the one by Evotech, but I found the price of that being a bit too much on the higher side of things. So I settled for the Puig one, and while installing that, it dawned on me why the Evotech is so much more expensive, because this had me feeling like I was working with an AliExpress product. For example, the blinkers have to be installed by bending metal in place, of course inevitably damaging the metal, but when you're done with that hassle, of course it looks great. Number 5, the exhaust. I decided to replace the stock Doom Blaster looking exhaust with this MIVV X-M5. There's a small noticeable weight reduction. The advertised increase in horsepower I don't really think is a thing. Something that I was scared of losing with the stock exhaust is it pops on lower RPMs. And I'm happy to report that it pops a lot more actually than with the stock exhaust. So that's about it. I've also made a video about what I hate and what I love about the bike. If you should feel so inclined, go watch that. If not, be well.